Before I became a career coach, back when I was climbing the corporate ladder, I discovered something really key early on. And these are the unspoken rules about getting promoted. I learned this lesson the really hard way right after promotion season. I was sure I'd be the one to get the promotion. I worked the hardest, I arrived early, I contributed the most, I often stayed late. But when the announcement came, I couldn't believe it. Not only did I not get promoted, but the person who did wasn't working nearly as hard as me. And I was completely confused, but that's when it hit me. I had been believing a lie so many others like me fall for. What's that lie? If I work hard and do a good job every day, I'll get promoted and I'm going to advance my career. Of course, doing a good job is really important because if you don't, you're unlikely to advance at all. But after that day, I realized something really crucial. Doing a good job is only half the battle. The other half, it's about being visible at work. So in this video, I'm gonna explain why visibility is so important to getting promoted and share my top 5 tips to help you become more visible and get promoted faster. Visibility is important because there are way more people that are talking about you than just your manager. It's your peers, it's your manager's manager, it might be the VP of the group or the CXO of the group. And so being visible helps bring your story to life because people know you, they like you, and they trust you. Those 3 things are so important in promotion discussions that happen at the highest level. So, does being visible matter so much? Let me explain. So to help bring this to life, I want to explain a little bit about the differences, let's just say, being promoted at school when we were young and being promoted at work. In school, you complete a set of tasks, you complete some courses, you get certain grades on your exams, and then you're moved up to the next level automatically by doing those things, right? Check. Being promoted at work is combining being evaluated for your objective work and then all the subjective things that come along with it, which is really like the how. And so as executives, as leaders, we have to be able to do the things that we were hired to do and add tons of value. And then also the way in which we get those things done has to complement the what. So again, as we've gone through high school and college, our grades are linked to our performance. The time that we put into studying is directly related to the results that we get. But in a corporate environment, this is not exactly how it works. And that's why I said it was a lie. So to understand this, it's important to know how the promotion process works. Typically, once or twice a year, senior leaders are going to come together to evaluate employees and determine who's ready for a promotion. And during this process, they're going to gather information from various departments, from supervisors and teams to build a case for each candidate. Yes, a case for each candidate. And then these cases are then presented to a committee that reviews the evidence. They discuss the candidates, and ultimately, they decide who will and who will not be promoted. Now, think about what this means. In many cases, it won't be your direct supervisor making the final decision, like I said. Instead, it will likely be a senior leader who you didn't interact with directly, or leaders that you may have never met and who may not even know you personally. Now, try putting yourself in the shoes of someone on the promotion committee making these important decisions. So picture this. There are 2 candidates under consideration, both with equally strong performance reviews. But the senior leaders point out that one of them has been much more visible within the organization, maybe reaching their hand across the aisle and helping other teams, or volunteering for things that aren't necessarily in their purview. Who do you think is more likely to get promoted? Chances are it's going to be the more visible candidate, the one who has built stronger connections and left a lasting impression on others. And this brings me to a common saying in the business world, which is perception is reality. You might be excelling in your role and consistently going above and beyond expectations, but what happens if no one knows about it? If others don't perceive your contributions, it's almost as if they never really happened. And that's why mastering perception is crucial for fast tracking your career. It's not just about ensuring your team lead is aware of your efforts, it's about creating visibility with senior leaders and others across the organization. So now let's talk about how to actually manage your perception by going over the 5 best tips to become more visible. So first is strategically planning your interactions. So I want you to begin by thinking carefully about the interactions that you'll have with key decision makers. So for example, if senior partners only attend meetings once a week or even less frequently, you'll have very few opportunities to share their impression of you. Make sure these 1 to 2 meetings per month really count. So you take an active role by coordinating with your team lead ahead of time. And so you might say, what section of the meeting can I take charge of? This way you avoid being the person in the corner with your arms crossed, just listening the whole time. Prepare thoughtfully, think about the topics that you want to raise or the questions to ask. Being well prepared helps you make strong impressions during these really limited interactions. Second, clearly communicate your successes. So start by identifying your achievements and then share them effectively. So you could do that during one-on-one meetings with your supervisor, highlight not just the challenges or next steps, but also your accomplishments and their impact. Another effective method is to send end-of-week emails. And these summaries, often used by project leads or senior leaders, can include highlights, so what was achieved during the week, lowlights or obstacles and challenges that you faced, and then next next steps, so plans and priorities for the coming week. The third tip is engaging in special activities beyond your day-to-day job. So I want you to think about what you can do on top of what you're already doing, but do it smartly. So for example, organizing a team event or a team dinner, or maybe organizing an office event where other teams can learn about each other. This is a great opportunity because oftentimes these events are sponsored by senior leaders in your organization, so you can work directly with them and become more visible. Fourth, be mindful of how you say things. Teamwork is really important and often collaborative, but don't shy away from highlighting your specific contribution. So instead of always saying, we did this, we achieved that, which you absolutely should do, make it clear what you did in addition and the impact that you had. This approach is also crucial when writing your resume or discussing your accomplishments during evaluations. And finally, fifth, this might be an unpopular opinion, but working closer to the headquarters or senior leaders can fast track your career. If you have the option to work remotely or come into the office, choose the office more often. Being physically present provides opportunities to interact with senior leaders, decision makers, and other colleagues and peers. And of course, this depends on lots of different things and company culture for sure, but in many organizations, visibility is the key to advancement. So that's the unspoken rule to getting promoted fast. Make yourself more visible with those 5 tips, and I guarantee that you're more likely to get promoted. And subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.